Hello everyone, Yanni Plays here, and today let's talk about smoke or fog effect in Minecraft. So in some of your builds, you may run into the situation where you would like to have a smoke or a fog effect being applied. So for example, if you have a hole or maybe a cave and you would like to have the immersion that there is smoke or fog coming out of there, then you can do that with glass. Now, there are two different ways that you can do it, and in this video, I'm going to compare the two versions, and I set up multiple different layers side by side so we can see how many layers do you actually need, how much glass do you have to spend to get the effect that you would like to have. So there are two ways on how you can do that. You can either place glass with an air gap in between, or you can use two different colored glass to get the same effect. So on this side, we have 7 layers of black stained glass and one air layer in between. And you can see towards the back, we have a very good smoke effect. Now on this side over here, you can see the smoke effect comes in way earlier because here we have again 7 layers, but we have black glass and we have gray glass to give us the same or a very similar effect. Now down here, I set up a few different examples that we can compare side by side. First, we're going to look at 5 layers with gray and black glass. Underneath, I placed sea lanterns and I also placed torches so we can see how good can you see through this layer. So as you can see over here, you clearly can see all 5 of the layers, and we very clearly can see the sea lantern and also the torch. On the other side, where we compare it against the black wall and the black floor, even here we can clearly see where the wall meets the floor. Next, let's look at 6 layers. Here the top layer is now gray glass. You can still see the wall, but we have to say the last piece of the wall already is really fogged out. We can still clearly see the details on the sea lantern, and we also can see a bright highlight dot from the torches. Also here against the black wall, we can still see where the wall and the floor meet. However, it is not as strong as it was before. Now, when we look at 7 layers, we can still see the sea lantern. However, they are already faded back into the background. And to see the torches, we already have to look very closely to see this small point of light. And if we look against the back wall, we can see that the last layer is very faded away. And for me, I would be satisfied with a situation like that. Looking against the black wall, we cannot see where the wall and the floor meet. So in conclusion, we have to say if we go with the 2 different glass colors layered, we have to go with at least 7 layers to have enough of a fog effect. The next one that we're looking at is 7 layers of gray glass with the air gap in between. On this one here, it is really hard to see the bottom of the pillar. So even if I zoom in with Optifine, I cannot distinguish where the pillar ends. We barely can see the sea lantern, but I cannot see the torch. I believe the torch is right here. I see a very light color, but it is almost invisible. If we look against the black side, there is no way that we can see where the wall ends and where the floor starts. If we remove 1 layer and we go to 6 layers with air gaps in between, we clearly can see the sea lanterns, and we also can see the bottom of the pillar. The torches are barely visible, but we can see where the torches are. If we look against the black side, I cannot see where the floor ends and where the wall begins. Lastly, let's look at 5 layers. 5 layers like what we have at the different colored glass, we can pretty much see straight through it. So 5 layers are not gonna cut it. But on the black side, it actually is a little bit better. We cannot see where the wall ends and where the floor begins. Now, as I said, I backlit the smoke effect with sea lanterns and with torches, so we can see how exactly that looks like. If we are going to 7 layers with different colored of glass, there is pretty much no light coming through. The 6 layers, it's about the same. There is hardly any light coming up. You can see it a little bit coming up on the pillar side. With 5 layers, we clearly have some light coming through. Now let's look at the light with the air gaps in between. On 7 layers, I don't see hardly any light coming up. And we have the same situation if we go to 6 layers. And on 5 layers, we actually have light coming through. Now let's look at them from a little bit higher up. From up here, you can clearly see the benefit you have if you layer 2 different colors of glass. Even the one that we layered a gray on top, it is a little bit darker than what we have over here where we just used one single color. However, we also can see that where the air gaps in between, the smoke effect comes higher up because it is layered higher and it is a smoother transition all the way down. For this build here, I will go with the 6 layers and the air gaps in between. I like on this one that the effect comes higher up and that it takes longer for the smoke effect to actually come in. However, the different colored glass is also a very viable option. For example, would use that if I would have a pit where I want to have some poisonous gas coming out, maybe use some green and yellow. And especially in areas like that where I don't want to have it to raise up too high. I even would consider building something with just 5 layers and then put lanterns or other light sources underneath to give it even a more glowy or gloomy effect. If this video helped you find the right smoke or fog effect for your project, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you would like to see more content like this one here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day.